Decluttering should feel freeing. But if you're over 60, it can easily turn into something overwhelming. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 common decluttering mistakes that could be quietly adding more stress to your days, instead of simplifying your life. These aren't just about stuff. They're about energy, time, and peace of mind. And don't worry, this isn't about throwing everything away or doing it all at once. We're going to take a gentle, realistic approach that actually works. Stick with me. Mistake number 3 alone saved me hours every single week. And it might just change how you think about your space. Whether you've downsized, stayed in the same home for decades, or you're just tired of feeling overwhelmed by clutter, this is for you. Let's get started and make room for more ease, more clarity, and more freedom, one smart step at a time. If you've ever started cleaning with the best intentions, only to feel more exhausted, frustrated, or even defeated by the end, you're not alone. Clutter has a way of creeping in slowly over time, especially after 60. What once felt like a warm, lived-in home can suddenly feel chaotic, crowded, or emotionally heavy. Maybe it's the things we've collected over decades, or the items we've held on to out of guilt, habit, or the fear of forgetting. And when you're dealing with changes in energy levels, mobility, or even just focus, the idea of decluttering can feel less like freedom and more like a burden. But it doesn't have to be that way. This stage of life isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. And that includes creating a space that supports peace, not pressure. You deserve a home that works for you, not against you. And it starts by understanding what's standing in the way. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 common decluttering mistakes that many people over 60 don't even realize they're making, and more importantly, how to fix them in a way that feels simple and doable. These aren't harsh or extreme tips. They're gentle, realistic adjustments that can make a big difference in how your home feels and functions. Because at this stage of life, your space should support your well-being, not drain it. Whether you're downsizing, staying put, or just tired of feeling weighed down by stuff, these insights will help you let go of what no longer serves you, without stress or regret. Each mistake we'll cover comes with a practical solution you can apply right away, starting today. And they're not just about organizing things, they're about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. Let's take this one step at a time, together. Mistake 1. Decluttering everything at once. It's a common trap, one that catches even the most well-meaning people. You wake up feeling motivated. You look around and say, today's the day. I'm going to tackle the entire garage, or the attic, or the kitchen, or maybe even the whole house. It feels exciting at first, like you're finally going to get things under control. But a few hours in, reality sets in. You're surrounded by piles, unsure where to start, and now physically and emotionally drained. What began as an effort to simplify ends in overwhelm. Trying to declutter an entire space in one go isn't just tiring, it's discouraging. And after 60, your energy is too valuable to spend in ways that leave you feeling depleted and defeated. You might find your back aches, your focus fades, and decision fatigue sets in fast. Before you know it, the only thing that's been cleared is your motivation, and the mess feels even bigger than before. Here's the truth. Decluttering isn't a race, and it's not a one-day project. Especially in this chapter of life, the smarter path is slow, steady progress that honors your energy and your time. Instead of aiming to clear an entire garage or closet, start smaller, much smaller. Pick one drawer, one shelf, one corner. Set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes, and allow yourself to stop when it goes off. That's it. These small, focused wins are where the magic happens. Why? Because they're manageable. They give you a sense of control, not chaos. And more importantly, they build momentum. You begin to realize, hey, that drawer looks great. What if I did another one tomorrow? Before long, you've decluttered the whole room, but without the emotional crash. There's another powerful benefit to this bite-sized approach. It helps you make better decisions. When you're not exhausted or under pressure, it's easier to ask, do I still need this? Do I even like this? And those clear-headed choices make the process less stressful and more meaningful. I've seen this shift work wonders, not just in my own life, but in others who thought they were too behind or too tired to even start. One woman I spoke with said she'd been avoiding her basement for years. We talked about starting with just the top of one storage bin. That's all. She did it and messaged me the next day. I went down there for 10 minutes, but I stayed for 30. I finally feel like I'm getting my home back. So if you've been staring down a full room and feeling paralyzed, here's your permission to not do it all. In fact, doing less, intentionally, is the secret to getting more done. Remember, clutter didn't show up overnight, and it doesn't need to disappear overnight either. Think progress, not perfection. Start with just one shelf today. Celebrate the win. That one small step might be the beginning of something much bigger: a lighter home, a calmer mind, and a renewed sense of control over your space. Let decluttering work for you, not against you. And it starts by not trying to do it all at once. Mistake 2. Holding on to things just in case. We've all done it. We pick up an old item, hold it for a moment, and think, well, I might need this someday. So it goes back in the drawer, the box, or the back of the closet, joining the growing collection of just-in-case items we haven't used in years. Maybe it's that broken lamp you've been meaning to fix since 2004, or a pile of cables for devices you no longer own. Maybe it's extra serving platters just in case you host a big dinner again, even though you haven't in years. Or the ever-growing stash of mismatched Tupperware lids, waiting for containers that mysteriously vanished long ago. It's not laziness. It's not clutter for clutter's sake. Often, it's rooted in good intentions, in being resourceful, frugal, prepared, and especially for those of us who lived through times when we had to make do with less. Holding on to things just in case can feel like common sense. But after 60, this habit can quietly start working against us. Because here's the reality. Every just-in-case item takes up space. Not just in your home, but in your mind. Every drawer you open that's filled with unused, unnecessary things is a tiny stressor. A reminder of unfinished business. A silent weight on your day. And what are we really preparing for? An emergency that requires 7 extra spatulas? A future version of ourselves who suddenly needs 10 pairs of scissors? The truth is, most of those someday scenarios never actually come. Instead, what we end up with is a home full of stuff for lives we aren't living anymore. At this stage in life, space and peace are more valuable than a drawer full of maybes. You deserve to open a cabinet and feel a sense of calm, not frustration. You deserve to walk into your garage and find the things you actually use, not dig through boxes of things you forgot you owned. Letting go of just-in-case items doesn't mean being careless. It means being intentional. It means recognizing that your home isn't a storage unit for every possible future. It's a sanctuary for your present life. So how do you start? Ask yourself, when was the last time I actually used this? If I didn't have it, what would I do? Is the space this takes up worth the stress it adds? Am I keeping this out of fear or out of purpose? If the answer is, I haven't used it in years, or I don't even remember what this belongs to, that's your sign. You can let it go. And here's the thing, if someday does come, and you truly need that item again, you can probably borrow it, replace it, or find another solution. But until then, let yourself have the space to breathe. A woman once told me, I realized I was keeping 6 flower vases for a life I no longer live. I haven't hosted in years, and my favorite one is the only one I ever use. The rest were just clutter in the cabinet. She let them go and felt a wave of relief. That's what this is really about. Not stuff. Relief. Relief from the pressure to prepare for every possibility. Relief from the mess that doesn't reflect who you are today. Relief from the feeling that your home is full, but not fulfilling. So the next time you find yourself thinking, maybe I'll need this one day, pause. Ask yourself if you're holding on to peace or holding on to pressure. If it's the latter, it might be time to let go. You're not giving up anything. You're making room for what matters now. Mistake 3. Ignoring energy levels. One of the most common, but least talked about, mistakes people over 60 make when decluttering is expecting themselves to work like they did in their 30s. You might look at a cluttered room and think, I should just power through this like I used to. One full day and I'll have it done. But here's the truth. Your energy today is not the same as it was decades ago, and that's not a weakness. It's simply reality. The sooner we recognize and honor that, the easier and more sustainable decluttering becomes. Trying to declutter for hours on end, without rest, hydration, or pacing, sets you up for physical exhaustion and emotional burnout. You may find yourself starting strong, only to hit a wall midway through. Your back hurts, your legs are tired. Your decision-making starts to slow, and suddenly, you're more frustrated than when you started. It's easy to feel guilty about this, especially if you've always prided yourself on being productive. You might hear that critical voice in your head. Why can't I get through this? What's wrong with me? But here's the thing, nothing is wrong with you. You're simply in a different season of life, and that requires a different kind of strategy. You don't need to declutter like you did at 30. You don't need to push through pain or fatigue. And you certainly don't need to do it all in one go. Instead, shift your mindset and your method. Try working in short, focused bursts. Set a timer for 10, 15, or 20 minutes, whatever feels doable. Declutter just one small area. When the timer goes off, stop, stretch, drink water, take a break, even if you feel like you could keep going. Why? Because stopping before you're tired keeps your energy and your motivation intact. This change alone transformed the way I declutter. I used to go full throttle, thinking that was the only way to get results. But I'd burn out, pile everything into keep bins just to finish, and then have to redo it all later. Once I started pacing myself, everything changed. Not only did I get more done over time, I felt better doing it. No soreness the next day, no regret, just steady, meaningful progress. And here's another bonus. When you work in short sessions, your decision-making improves. You're sharper, more present, and less emotionally drained. You're not rushing. You're intentional. That means fewer, maybe, piles and more real results. I spoke with a retired teacher recently who shared this exact shift. She used to take on huge decluttering projects and end up feeling defeated. Now, she sets her kitchen timer for 15 minutes, works on one drawer or shelf, and stops. She told me, "It feels like I'm finally working with my body instead of against it, and I'm seeing more progress than I ever did before." So if you've been ignoring your energy, pushing yourself too hard, too long, or too often, it's time to stop. Start thinking of your energy as a resource to manage, not to expend. Protect it, pace it, plan around it. Ask yourself, when do I feel most energized in the day? How long can I comfortably work without getting tired? What small win can I aim for today, not a big finish line? You'll find that honoring your body makes decluttering more enjoyable, more effective, and more sustainable. It allows you to keep going, not just today, but tomorrow and the next day too. Decluttering after 60 isn't a sprint. It's a rhythm, and the rhythm that works best is the one that fits you. So the next time you feel that urge to just push through, pause. Remind yourself, you don't have to do it all. You just have to do enough. And sometimes, that means knowing when to stop. Mistake 4. Keeping guilt items. This one hits close to home for so many of us, especially after 60. We're not just managing things, we're managing memories, expectations, and often guilt. Guilt for not loving the gift someone gave us. Guilt for abandoning a hobby we thought would stick. Guilt for letting go of something that was once expensive, sentimental, or passed down. So what do? We keep it. The decorative vase from a friend you don't really talk to anymore. The bread maker you used once in 2012. The yarn from when you were going to learn knitting because you bought it. And maybe someday, you'll try again. Or the outfit you wore to someone's wedding that doesn't fit your life or your body anymore. These aren't things we love, use, or even want. They're things we feel obligated to keep. But here's the truth. Guilt is not a good reason to give something space in your home or your heart. Let's unpack that. When someone gives you a gift, the intention is kindness, thoughtfulness, love. But the purpose of a gift is not to burden you. You are not dishonoring the person by letting go of the item. In fact, the moment you received it and appreciated the gesture, it served its purpose. Holding on to something you don't like or use year after year doesn't increase the love behind it. It just creates clutter. The same goes for items tied to old hobbies or unfinished projects. We often keep them as a kind of silent apology to ourselves. I should have finished this. I should still want this. But life changes. Interests evolve. What once excited you may no longer serve you. And that's not failure. That's growth. I had a sewing machine in my guest room closet for over a decade. I told myself I'd get back into it after the holidays, after the move, after retirement. But deep down, I knew I'd moved on. Every time I opened that closet, I felt guilt, not inspiration. The machine took up space, physically and emotionally. And when I finally let it go, I felt a surprising sense of relief. It made room for something else, not just a physical item, but peace. So how do you know if you're keeping something out of guilt? Ask yourself, would I keep this if no one else knew I had it? Do I actually use or enjoy this item? Or am I just afraid of what it says if I let it go? Am I honoring the giver or just burdening myself? If the answer is rooted in guilt, fear, or should, that's your sign. Here's a gentle reframe. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean you're ungrateful or unloving. It means you're creating a home that reflects your present self, not the expectations of the past. You can honor a memory without keeping the object. You can appreciate the intention without storing the item. You can be grateful for the lesson, even if the hobby wasn't for you. And if it helps, try this. Say goodbye out loud. Thank you for the joy you brought at the time. I'm ready to let you go now. Or, if an item came from someone you love, take a photo of it before you donate it. Keep the memory, not the mess. One woman told me about a china set she kept for years, even though she never used it and didn't like the pattern. It had belonged to her mother-in-law, and she felt guilty even thinking about parting with it. When she finally did, she said, "It felt like I was making peace with the past. I didn't realize how heavy it had become." That's what happens when we release guilt items. We reclaim our energy. We make space for the things that truly serve us. Now, in this chapter of life. Because after 60, your home should reflect who you are today, not who you used to be or who others expected you to become. Let this be your permission. You don't have to keep things that make you feel bad. You're allowed to choose peace over pressure. You're allowed to let go and still hold on to love. Mistake 5. Not asking for help. Decluttering is often seen as a solo task, a quiet job we're supposed to do ourselves. We tell ourselves, "This is my mess. I should be the one to handle it." Or, "I don't want to burden anyone else." Or maybe even, "I'll just wait until I have more energy, then I'll tackle it all." But here's the thing, you don't have to do this alone. And more importantly, you shouldn't. One of the biggest mistakes people over 60 make when trying to simplify their homes is thinking they have to go it alone. That asking for help is a sign of weakness or an inconvenience to others. But the truth is, decluttering is often more effective and far more enjoyable when it's shared. Maybe it's inviting a friend to come over and help sort through your closet. Maybe it's asking your adult children to spend an afternoon helping you clear the attic. Maybe it's swapping declutter days with a neighbor. You help them with their pantry this week, and they help you with your garage next week. This isn't about depending on others. It's about building connection, adding accountability, and creating momentum through shared effort. Let's be honest, some decluttering decisions are emotionally heavy. What do you do with your late spouse's belongings? How do you decide which old photo albums to keep? What about the things you saved from your children's early years, who are now parents themselves? When you do that kind of work alone, it can feel overwhelming. But when someone is there with you, listening, supporting, or even just sitting nearby, the load feels lighter. Sometimes you need someone to say, "It's okay to let that go." Or even, "Tell me the story behind this." It turns decluttering from a chore into a conversation, a moment of reflection, and often even joy. One woman shared that she invited her granddaughter to help her sort through decades of jewelry, most of which she hadn't worn in years. Together, they laughed, tried things on, and created a keep, donate, and pass down pile. She said, "It wasn't just about decluttering. It became a memory we both cherished." And that's the thing, decluttering can be bonding. It's an opportunity to share stories, to teach your loved ones what mattered to you, and to even give away meaningful items personally, while you're here to see them appreciated. There's also a practical side. Maybe you physically can't reach that top shelf anymore. Maybe you tire easily or have limited mobility. That's okay. Asking for help isn't about what you can't do. It's about being smart with your energy and making the process safer and smoother. If family isn't nearby or available, consider reaching out to your community. Local senior centers often have volunteer support programs. Faith groups may offer help for organizing or home support. Even hiring a professional organizer for a single session can bring clarity and momentum. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to ask for a full weekend. Just say, "Would you be willing to sit with me for 30 minutes while I go through this drawer?" Or, I'd love your opinion on what to keep or donate from this shelf. You might be surprised how many people say yes and even enjoy it. Remember, people want to be helpful. They feel honored when you trust them enough to ask. And chances are, you've helped them in some way in the past. This is just another form of connection. So if you've been silently struggling, waiting for the right time to tackle it all yourself, stop. Let someone in. Let them hold the trash bag while you decide. Let them tell you it's okay to let go. Let them be part of the journey with you. Decluttering doesn't have to be lonely. In fact, it shouldn't be. It's not just about clearing space, it's about feeling supported in the process. You deserve that, and the people who care about you would love to give it. Mistake 6. Avoiding the memory box trap. The memory box sounds so harmless, doesn't it? One neat little container to hold our most treasured keepsakes, old photos, letters, baby shoes, postcards from long-forgotten vacations. But here's the catch. One box becomes 2, then 5, then an entire closet. Before you know it, you've got bins of unmarked envelopes, crumbling scrapbooks, and school drawings from decades ago, gathering dust in the garage, attic, or under the bed. And we keep it all, not because we use it, not because we look at it, but because we're afraid of what it means if we don't. We tell ourselves, these are memories, I can't throw them away. What if I forget? What if someone else wants these someday? This is the memory box trap, and it's one of the most emotionally complicated forms of clutter. Because we're not just organizing stuff, we're trying to organize our lives, our pasts, and sometimes our identities. But here's the truth. Memories don't live in shoeboxes. They live in you. You don't have to keep everything to remember something. After 60, your time, your space, and your peace are too precious to be buried under boxes of items you never revisit. Holding on to every piece of the past doesn't protect it. It dilutes it. Instead, try this. Set a clear limit. Not 5 bins. Not as much as fits in the closet. Just one dedicated box, or even better, a single drawer or small chest. And then fill it with only what truly matters. Ask yourself, does this spark a warm, meaningful memory when I see it? Will this bring me, or someone I love, joy or understanding later? Would I be sad if this were gone, or simply indifferent? Let go of the blurry duplicates, the out-of-focus vacation photos, the programs from every school play, the birthday cards with nothing more than a signature. Let go of guilt, too. You're not erasing anyone or anything, you're honoring what's most important by choosing intentionally. One powerful method is to curate, not collect. Think like a museum curator. What are the pieces that tell the story of your life? Which few things best represent the experiences you cherish? You might keep a handwritten letter from a loved one, a baby photo of each grandchild, a memento from your wedding day, a recipe card in your mother's handwriting, and you can digitize the rest. Scan old photos or letters and store them on a computer or flash drive. This frees up physical space without losing the memory itself. You can even create digital albums to share with your family. An easy way to pass down stories without handing over boxes of clutter. Here's a real story. A man I spoke with recently had over 7 bins of family photos and keepsakes. He hadn't opened most of them in years because it felt too overwhelming. With his daughter's help, they chose 50 of the most meaningful items, created a small memory book, and donated or recycled the rest. He told me, "Now I actually enjoy looking at what I kept. The rest was just noise." You're not being wasteful by letting go. You're being wise. Because memory isn't about volume, it's about connection. And you can't connect with your past or your present if it's buried under years of unsorted paper and forgotten things. Letting go creates space for living, not just remembering. So next time you open that memory box, remind yourself, you don't need to keep it all to hold it close. You're allowed to choose joy over quantity. You're allowed to keep the love and release the rest. Your memories deserve more than a dusty box. They deserve your attention, your presence, and the space to breathe. Mistake 7. Thinking decluttering is a one-time event. Here's a mindset that quietly sets a lot of people up for frustration. The belief that decluttering is something you do once and then never have to worry about again, like checking a box on a to-do list. I'll take a weekend, clear everything out, and finally be done with it. But here's the truth that becomes especially clear after 60. Decluttering isn't a destination. It's a rhythm. Just like eating healthy or staying active, Keeping a home organized and peaceful is something you tend to, not something you complete. Things come in, life shifts, needs change, and that's okay. But expecting yourself to declutter once and be done forever? That's unrealistic, and it often leads to disappointment, or even shame when the clutter inevitably creeps back in. Think about it like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once and expect your teeth to stay clean forever. It's part of your routine, a small habit that protects something important. Decluttering is the same. It's not about being perfect, it's about staying present with your space. And the good news is, it doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't need to set aside hours or overhaul your whole house every month. You just need a gentle rhythm that works with your lifestyle. For most people, that can be as simple as 10 minutes a week. 10 minutes to check one drawer. 10 minutes to let go of 3 things you don't use. 10 minutes to straighten up a shelf, clear a table, or toss expired items from the fridge. Over time, these small moments add up in a big way. The most successful declutterers I've worked with aren't the ones who did a massive weekend purge. They're the ones who made decluttering a habit, a part of their normal week, not a special event. Here's how you can do the same. Anchor it to something you already do. Maybe every Sunday after your morning coffee, you spend 10 minutes decluttering one area. Use a simple rule, one in, one out. For every new item that comes into your home, one old item goes out. This prevents buildup. Have a donation bag always ready. Keep it in a closet or laundry room. Anytime you find something you no longer need, drop it in. When it's full, donate it. Make it joyful. Put on your favorite music or podcast. Light a candle. Make it feel like self-care, not punishment. And most importantly, adjust as needed. Some weeks you'll do more, some weeks less. But the key is to keep the rhythm going, gently and consistently. A woman I worked with had a powerful realization. After years of trying to get it all done at once, she said, "I thought I had failed because the clutter kept coming back. But once I treated it like part of life, like laundry or dishes, it stopped feeling like a burden. Now I just stay on top of it a little at a time." That's the freedom this mindset brings. No more pressure to finish. Just a simple, ongoing practice that gives you back control without the crash. Because after 60, what you need most from your home is not perfection, it's peace. And peace comes from not having to start over again and again. It comes from steady, manageable steps that keep your space and your mind clear. So let go of the idea that you have to get it all done in one sweep. Instead, step into a gentle rhythm. Let decluttering become something that supports your life, not disrupts it. And remember, a tidy home isn't built in a day. It's built in small, kind moments, over and over again. I held on to my late husband's coffee mug for years. It was chipped and used, and tucked away in the back of a cabinet. But every time I saw it, I felt a pang of guilt. Letting it go felt like erasing a part of him, like I was being disloyal to the memory. But one day, I realized something important. The mug wasn't him. It wasn't our mornings together or his laughter or the way he always filled it just a little too high. I had those memories in my heart where they really mattered. I didn't need a broken object to prove I loved him. Letting it go wasn't betrayal. It was healing. It made space for peace. If you're holding on to something because of guilt or fear, ask yourself, are you honoring the person or just avoiding the feeling? You're allowed to keep the memory and let go of the item. That one decision gave me more clarity and comfort than I ever expected. When I stopped making these mistakes, everything changed. My home felt lighter, and so did I. Suddenly, I wasn't spending energy managing clutter or feeling guilty about what I hadn't done. There were fewer decisions to make, less visual noise, and more space to simply be. Decluttering didn't just clear my shelves, it cleared my mind. And that gave me more time and freedom to focus on what truly matters, the people I love, the things I enjoy, and the peace I'd been craving. Letting go wasn't about losing. It was about finally making room for life again. Which of these mistakes have you made? Or is there one I didn't mention that really hit home for you? Share your story in the comments. I truly love hearing your experiences, and you might just help someone else feel less alone. And if one of these tips gave you that little aha moment, or even just made you breathe a little easier, go ahead and tap the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more gentle, practical advice designed specifically for life after 60. Let's keep simplifying, one step at a time, together.